Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the 29th degree of the zodiac sign Libra. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Well, anyway, first thing up is, 29 degrees can be a degree of upheaval and crisis. It could also represent the full culmination energy of the sign. This could give very powerful, intensified, amplified Libra energy and characteristics, sometimes even distorted, I think. Now, also, too, given that this is Libra energy amplified, this person may be exceptionally diplomatic, tactful, refined, very balanced, having a tremendous want for fairness and things that are equitable, but also can be very ambivalent, indecisive, maybe overly charming, even in very sociable. There could be a very strong, tremendous emphasis on intellectual sociability and very powerful need for peace and harmony and refinement as well. There also may be perhaps even an excessive need for negotiation and compromise. Now, when I look at this as well, 29 degrees, I believe, can be a degree of strong procrastination. It is the last degree of the sign, and it could, I believe, can indicate very strong lateness, and people could be very, I call this basically like the inveterate procrastinator degree. The person may actually be notoriously late and tardy, and given that this is in Libra, I think this could be very strong delays in meeting people. It could be matters connected with reconciliation, negotiation, compromise, arbitration, relationship situations in general, doing things collaboratively, doing things with others in general. It could even be matters connected with lawsuits as well. It could be court appearances, and these things may be notoriously delayed or stalled. And again, given again that this is an upheaval crisis degree, there may be many ups and downs and fluctuations in relationships, or the person might be one of those people that might be dealing with one court situation or legality or legal matter one after another. It could represent many endings and beginnings with connections with others. Again, the person may be embroiled with one legal matter after another. It could also be, there could be very tremendous indecision and ambivalence in these matters, as the person may persistently weigh pros and cons of the situations. There also could be a very amplified, inflated, and perhaps even distorted need to collaborate with others on projects. This person may simply really feel like they have to do almost virtually everything with somebody. Now, of course, in a natal chart, if you have modifications or contraindicators, such as having a preponderance of planets on the left side of the chart, the person obviously can be very more self-reliant and independent than this degree, and the sign would indicate, or maybe something like an Aries ascendant, an ascendant that might be more about doing things on their own, perhaps. Now, could be another modifier or contraindicator, if you will. Now, anyway, also, too, this could be, given that this is, I want to talk about the different, as far as how this could relate to the sun, moon, ascendant. Now, if this 29th degree of Libra is on the ascendant, there might be many issues connected really with the physical body, such as the lower back and kidney disorders or afflictions. This person, when you're talking about the 29th degree, this could be a very strong sense of lack in connection with the sign, and it might be where the person just feels they don't have enough of it. And given that this is the appearance in Libra, the person may simply feel they're never proportionate in their appearance, that they're not, their body, there's something with their body that might not be balanced right, or they look like they feel they have too much heaviness in one part of the body in relation to the other, or just simply not attractive and refined enough. And really, and remember that Libra can be the quintessence of beauty, or really the quintessential beauty. I do believe it is really, I think it's really unequivocally the most attractive zodiac sign. and this person may simply feel that they're just never quite attractive enough, even though in many instances with Libra Ascendant the person actually will be, but they just feel that they may not be. And of course this can be accentuated, say if they have like Venus making an adverse aspect to their ascendant, but of course there can be contraindicators and modifiers, I say, in the chart. I mean, if Venus makes a positive aspect to the ascendant, then this person might actually feel a little bit more satisfied and content with their appearance than otherwise indicated. Now, if this is the moon at 29 degrees Libra, there could be crisis situations in relationships and legal issues that might take a toll on the person emotionally. It could be too. I mean, when you look at this as well, let's say that this is if this is the sun in Libra at 29 degrees, there might be a depletion of the energy due to the issues that I described, such as issues with perhaps relationships. There could be relationships that keep ending and new ones starting, just fluctuations in them in general. It could be legal matters, or even constantly going through emphasized ambivalence, and we're trying to weigh the pros and cons of situations. I mean, there could be something, or just legal matters that might be very taxing, and where the vitality might be diminished, and it might even have an effect on the creative energy. Anyway, well, the next thing I want to talk about, as far as in Sabian symbols, this could be a person that may be somewhat lethargic, indolent, and might lack the ability to be punctilious with details, which of course could ultimately lead to major letdowns, whether it would be moving into a new neighborhood and not getting all the details, like, for example, such as the crime in the area. It could be over-signing a contract and not reading the fine print, or what have you. Now, this could also be, in a positive end, a person that might put a very powerful emphasis on looking at every plausible solution to a certain problem or dilemma. Now, matters, though, with this 29th degree in Libra Sabian symbols, matters may not really be taken as seriously as they should, and they may often, this person may often not take the precautions when needed. And there can be, again, 29th degree, this could be a very excessive weighing of the pros and cons, which could be, of course, very amplified ambivalence and indecision. Now, someone I knew on social media that I talked with for a little bit, he has a Libra Ascendant, and it was very close to that 29th degree. Now, and he said he had a lot of instability in his relationships, and he would have frequent endings. He had asked me one time, like, what did he think it was attributed to? And I felt a lot of it could have been attributed to the fact that his ascendant was very close to that 29th degree of Libra, and this could indicate a lot of fluctuations, upheavals, and many endings in relationships as well. This could also, I mean, when you look at this too, I mean, the aspects to this point in the natal chart perhaps can indicate whether this could be, where this energy, this powerful energy in Libra, could be more of a positive expression of the sign, or a negative expression. If this point, say, has predominantly good aspects, the person may express many positive qualities and characteristics with this placement. However, if it has a lot of adverse and negative aspects, this could be a lot of negative energy, and this could come out a very negative manifestation of this sign, and really very inflated Libra energy may come out. Now, let's say, look specifically, now let's say, for example, if this has, let's say somebody has 29 degrees Libra, that's Sun, Lunar, Ascendant, and it makes an adverse aspect to their Pluto in their natal chart. Well, this could be that person that might use some phony, superficial charm to ingratiate his or herself into group situations in order to improve one's stature in life and move up that social ladder. And given 29th degree, very amplified energy, and of course you'd have like this could be a negative, this form of manipulation connected with the adverse aspect of Pluto. Now, let's take a positive one. Let's say, for another example, let's say that somebody has this 29th degree of Libra making a sextile or trine to their natal Mercury. Now, this person may have very good powers in connection with intellectual sociability and have a very strong ability to bounce ideas off others. And also, too, This could be now the house position, of course, can play a strong role and could impact the delineation. Now, of course, if it's the first house, that's the ascendant. But let's say if it's the sun or the moon at 29 degrees Libra, let's say, for example, it's in the third house in one's natal chart. This could indicate perhaps numerous legal matters, maybe with neighbors, siblings, cousins, or maybe simply many endings in connection with relationships with neighbors and with siblings, and maybe people that you might know in short journeys, perhaps. So now let's say another example, let's say this falls in the fifth house in one's natal chart. There could be inordinate fluctuations in relationships that might affect one's real strong personal popularity, and there can be very amplified, intense fluctuations in romantic relationships and the connections with children, perhaps. Now, also looking at this now, say in predictive astrology, this 29th degree of Libra can signify perhaps the culmination or completion of a relationship issue, a court matter, some legal matter, or maybe a reconciliation finally comes. It could be maybe a solution or resolution or a compromise is met, or justice is finally served and somebody is perhaps vindicated or exonerated. So anyway, and let's say that this happened in the seventh house in one's natal chart. Let's say that somebody had transit sun in Libra at 29 degrees in one's seventh house. Well, this could indicate perhaps a reconciliation or a truce that might come with maybe somebody that you had a legal battle with, or some other open adversary. Now, I'm talking about some examples here, this 29th degree of Libra. Now, Michelle Beadle, who is the one of the hosts on that show Get Up on ESPN, likely has her sun in Libra at 29 degrees, depending on her birth time. Now, she has had a number, we could say, relationships, if you will, with TV shows. I looked her up on Wikipedia. She was with so many different networks. It's not even fun. She'd have one ending and then another beginning. Remember, the sun could be about where we're shining and where we're standing out. Sometimes it can indicate in areas we get limelight. And the thing about this is, she's had when she has this 29th degree, again, in the sun in Libra, likely 29 degrees sun in Libra, a lot of these endings, connected with, you could say, with networks, but then she has a new beginning shortly afterwards. There's a lot of this fluctuating energy there. And also with her, this could intensify perhaps finding a plausible solution to sports-related issues, extensively weighing the pros and cons. And I think a lot of it could be with what is likely 29th degree of Libra. And when I'm talking about finding these plausible issues on sports-related matters, I'm talking, of course, with extensive weighing the pros and cons, talking about, of course, when she's discussing things with her TV hosts or what have you, certain various sports issues where they could be debating and talking about finding different solutions to certain problems that may be connected in the sports world. Now, also, another famous person that has this is definitely 29 degree Libra placement, is actor Edwin Learnard, who has his moon in Libra at 29 degrees. Now, naturally, he's very proficient in acting. I'm sure he puts a tremendous emphasis on this, perhaps more so than the average actor, considering we're talking about the 29th degree. Now, this could be also, though, that he had apparently had data. He had I'm sure a number of relationships before he had actually married. There was something online that said he had dated for like 6 years before eventually marrying. And he also had, sadly, he had lost his grandfather and mother in consecutive years. And I understand, 29 degrees Libra can be about endings connected with relationships. Now, I know everybody, or almost everybody, experiences terminations in relationships regardless of their astrological placements. But I think, the fact you're talking about with this person, with Edwin Learnard at 29 degrees Libra moon, that these deaths were in fairly close proximity to each other, and it might have a more powerful impact, I'd say, on him than the average person, considering you're talking about the anaretic degree of a zodiac sign. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my take on the 29th degree of the zodiac sign Libra. Stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about 29 degrees Scorpio. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.